What is up, y'all? It's your man, That Dude, bringing you guys another video. The Carolina Panthers are now in the market for a new head coach. And what is most important to me is not who specifically the coach is. Like, yes, that is important. But what is most important to me is what that coach brings. Now, I do want to go ahead and answer on the front end who I want to be the coach. And that is Eric Bieniemy, because he has studied at the knee of Andy Reid. And Andy Reid has proven himself to be, over the course of decades, to be someone who can mold his offensive scheme to whatever the tide of the NFL is. So the NFL, whatever the rules are, whatever the new popular schemes are at the time, Andy Reid has shown himself capable of molding his offense to that. He has shown himself to be an innovator time after time after time. And Eric Bieniemy is the guy who studied at his knee most recently. Now, that's not to say there's no guarantee that Bieniemy can replicate what Andy Reid has done, because he's not going to come here and he's not going to have, freaking Patrick Mahomes, who quite possibly is the greatest quarterback ever, or the most talented quarterback ever. He's not going to have Travis Kelce. He's not going to have the infrastructure they have in Kansas City. But I do like the idea of having an offensive mind as your head coach. Now, that's not to say that defensive-minded head coaches can't be successful. But I do think, particularly with the modern NFL, having an offensive-minded head coach is the way to go, because I think it gives you the best chance at sustained success year after year after year. Let's say if you have a defensive-minded head coach, he might be a great coach. But if he's a defensive-minded head coach, you're going to have to hire an offensive coordinator to groom your quarterback and to build your offensive system. If that system turns out to be good and that quarterback turns out to be productive, your OC is only going to be there for a few seasons before some other team offers him a head coaching job and he takes that job. You're constantly going to be cycling through offensive coordinators. Even if your team is good, eventually that's going to wear on you eventually. Unless you just manage to get some supreme talent at quarterback who can be good regardless of the offensive coordinator, which those don't come around very often, and I don't think you can bank on getting one. I think you gotta plan to have a solid infrastructure and one that can stand the test of time. And an offensive-minded head coach gives you that, because with the offensive-minded head coach, who's the one building the system, he's always gonna be there if the system is successful. So with an offensive-minded head coach, he builds the system works, the team wins games, the offense puts up points. He's your head coach. There's nowhere for him to go. He's always going to be there, which gives you consistency and gives you sustained success in your offense. Now, yeah, your defense, but defensive coordinators get poached or get, hired to be head coaches at a much lesser rate than offensive coordinators. So you have a better chance of keeping your defensive coordinator for, 5+ years than you do your offensive coordinator, given if they're both successful. So I think it just makes more sense to hire an offensive-minded head coach. Whoever that is, I hope it's Eric Bieniemy. But I think just from a pragmatic standpoint, it makes more sense to hire a coach who's going to build your offensive scheme, who's going to groom a quarterback. And I think it gives you the best chance of being a winning franchise, for 5+ years, for 5 or 10 years, like the Kansas City Chiefs have been. I think that's the mold I would try to follow, or the mold I would try to replicate. And that's what I hope the Panthers do. That's what I have for you on this one, guys. If you enjoyed this video, go hit that thumbs up. And if you are so inclined, subscribe and leave a comment. I respond to almost everything. And I'll see you guys in the next one.